Hello, 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 people of the internet. Ian Altosaar, the Freedom Astrologer, once again here. And we're doing another one of those mini lessons how to read a birth chart video. And now we've come to the point where we, kind of know what the zodiac wheel looks like. We know what the symbols or most of the symbols there look like. We know the signs. We know what the symbol of the signs are. We know the houses. We know what the houses mean. We know what the signs mean. We know what they represent. Now, hopefully you guys remember all of this. Now, if you don't remember, obviously go back and look at different videos in this series, or look at all of them. In those videos, I kind of dissect and explain what are we doing here, what is what, and there's a bunch of good information for people who are taking their first steps in astrology and they want to know more and want to know what is what and how to read one. But now we let's say we've taken the first steps in learning how to read a birth chart. Now let's take it a little bit of a step further and let's start combining the things we have learned so far. And because we know that the houses, we know what the houses do. The houses represent, different parts of our lives. We know what the signs are, what kind of feel or energy, and what the signs represent in our everyday life, in our practical material reality, and sometimes in those, let's say, more spiritual realms as well. Now, let's start putting these two together. And now I have a couple of example charts here for you. Let's take a look at some of these and let's see how it works. Now we can see on this chart, in this birth chart, the first house or the ascendant is a Gemini. This now already, remember I talked about the ascendant and the first house. This is a huge deal, in the birth chart. Is very important. This is where it all begins. This is where your life begins. This is who you are. And it's in the sign of Gemini. Now, you might be wondering, some of you are like, why do Geminis like to teach so much? Why do they like to talk so much? Why do they enjoy that communication that much? Now remember, guys, each of these astrological houses represents an area of that person's life. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 until the 12th house, all the let's say the areas of life are represented by this. And now, if you remember in some of the videos we talked about the Leo, the sign of Leo, and for Geminis, the sign of Leo is in their third house. Remember what the third house is all about? It's about communication and talking and speaking and kind of teaching, even learning, and it's more about teaching and learning about those left brain types of skills, more administrative types of skills. And now we put these two together, and remember, Leo is something we really enjoy, where we get fun from. What is fun for us in life? And when it's fun, we do it for fun, and we get to a level with that area in our life more easily, or a higher level with that area more easily in our life. So do something you like, you enjoy, it brings more fun, and you become the best at it. And this is also Leo. Remember, guys, and go back if you don't remember, look at more of the Leo. And now, why are Geminis so, let's say, adamant to speak, communicate, teach? Is one of the reasons there is that Leo, the sign of Leo here, you can see it. I'm pointing it with the mouse and I'm doing circles here. It's one of the reasons is that Leo is in their third house. So wherever Leo goes, we get to, let's say, derive joy from, and we become very good at it as well. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of Geminis like to speak, because it's fun for them. It's like speaking, writing, communicating. in small groups environments. Again, third house is very, very much enjoyable and fun for them, and they become very good at it. A lot of Geminis do become teachers because of it. You know, it doesn't have to be only school teacher, but it is a very prominent thing for Gemini. And even if they don't become students, they still in the third house activities that I already mentioned still bring a lot of joy and fun into their lives. So still they want to do it, and they find usually a way to integrate it in their career. So this is just one example how to combine, but I hope it's starting to make sense. Where the sign and the house kind of combined give that area in life for that person a taste, and what they like to do, how it manifests, how it is created in the real world. And hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, guys, start asking questions about this in the comments below. I'll have a bunch of here. I wanted to take one of my favorite ones. This is one of my favorite examples with this, and it's really good. And this is a Virgo Ascendant a chart, and Virgo Ascendant, remember, is already pretty practical and earthly. They are kind of very well adjusted for this life on Earth. It's a very left brain kind of sign, so there's already that. But usually when you talk to a Virgo, let's say a very, very prominent Virgo, again, ascendant, sun, or moon, we will come to these topics later. But ascendant, sun, or moon, for example, you will most likely find that their beliefs, remember, the first house is you or the person, and the ninth house is the beliefs. And what is in the ninth house for the Virgo Ascendant? It's Taurus. It's one of the most earthly, most materially oriented signs of them all. And for Virgos, it is in the ninth house, what we believe in, how we actually see the world, I would even say what we deeply believe in, and how we perceive everything around us. Kind of belief system is maybe the best word to describe this house. So this means usually these people have very, very materially oriented belief systems. They don't really believe in a lot of, woo-woo juju, depending on obviously if they have some other indicators in the chart to make them believe in those more woo-woo juju thingies. But important to understand that we're looking at the house and the signs as they are. We're not yet adding any planets. We're not adding any other influences. We're just looking at the very, very core basics of how to read a birth chart. And later on, we'll start bringing in more difficult concepts as well. But remember, guys, this is already a place where you can start making, let's say, analysis of your own chart, for example. Or if you have somebody out there to test this out, and they're open, obviously start testing it out with first the houses and the signs. So you get some practice, you get some foundations in, and you get better at it. And let's go and move further a little bit. What did I want to show you? Oh, no. Not that one. Maybe let's take this one. This is a pretty interesting one. This is a Capricorn Ascendant. Remember, guys, Capricorns, and again, pretty earthly practical signs. I don't know why I'm choosing these earthly signs, but very, very grounded. Usually moves lower, wants career success, wants status in the world. But let's look at the second house of the Capricorn Ascendant. The second house, you can see from the symbol, it's Aquarius. And remember what Aquarius is. Aquarius is kind of like moving quite slowly at times, and then sudden spikes, sudden ups and downs of movements, and maybe even shocking events. So this is one of the reasons why the Capricorn, whenever there's a strong Capricorn ascendant, they usually build, with their finances as well. They do build, sometimes solid foundations there, but there are more fluctuations up and down, kind of sudden shocks within their financial lives, material financial lives. So again, another example of how, the sign and the house can really combine. So how it can look like is, maybe the Capricorn Ascendant or you're investing somewhere, maybe it's not really going that well. Maybe you take a risk here, maybe take a small risk there, and suddenly, after years and years of doing that, you get a big spike with your finances, meaning, they blow up, it's a big money bag there. Or, in some occasions, you might have those downward spikes as well. But just to kind of illustrate how houses and signs work together, I think this is a good one as well. I think this is one. Maybe let's take the Leo one. Let's take the Leo one. So Leo one is interesting. Whenever somebody has a strong Leo, and in this chart we have a Leo Ascendant, Leo first house. Maybe you noticed, and maybe you have that yourself, that in their 7th house, and now I'm taking Aquarius one, but anyway, let's take the Aquarius one again, and then I'll take something else. But this is a good example. I just like that example. Now, why are Leos quite detached in their relationships? Why are they kind of almost even aloof in their personal relationships? Is the Aquarius in their 7th house. So there is a kind of emotional detachment when the person has a lot of Leo. It's almost like you sometimes can maybe feel like a veil is between you. I would describe it as such, but they need a lot of freedom in their lives when they are in relationships. This is maybe even a better way of saying it, is they need a lot of freedom, and Aquarius is where we kind of rebel and we want that freedom, we want to feel liberated. And this is one of the reasons, Leos are like that in relationships, because they have the sign of Aquarius in the 7th house of relationships. So they are kind of detached from their partners. They want a lot of freedom in their relationships. And I think you can very much, depending on how far along the Leo person is, you can feel that kind of, I would say like a detached feeling when you're with them. Then kind of even distant, maybe emotionally. But the freedom thing is, because Leo has so much heart and big heart as well, so it depends a little. But the freedom thing I've seen with a lot of people who have strong Leos, they even if they are in a committed relationship, and Leos are very committed and kind of a very fixed sign, very loving as well at times. It's still at certain points in the relationship they need that freedom. So it doesn't mean they go away from you, but they need that space at times. Okay, let's move on onwards. Let's take something else entirely. Maybe this is a pretty interesting one. Let's take Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, remember, is very, very adventurous and likes to take risks at times and likes to have fun quickly. And why is that? Why is that for Sagittarius, somebody who has a lot of Sagittarius energy in their chart? So you can see in the fifth house, there is the sign of Aries. Aries is all about, quick movement, risk taking, courage, boldness, and fifth house is all about, gambling and parties and entertainment and fun. And this is one of the reasons they are so, let's say, adventurous, fun-seeking in those situations, because in the house of fun, in the house of entertainment, in the house of lovers as well, so they are quite active when they're pursuing somebody romantically. Sagittarius is quite direct in that regard, and they like the pursuit, but when the pursuit gets too let's say too long, they get bored. Aries doesn't like to get bored. Aries doesn't like long, let's say, long pursuits. It likes quick, fast, and let's do it now. So it is a bit of a daredevil combination here, and one of the reasons Sagittarius is kind of maybe you see a lot of Sagittarius more adventurous, more whenever there's somebody going to party or entertainment, these are the more lively, the first ones there, kind of even if we talk about gambling and taking risks, they are always up for a risk, the Sagittarius. Now, depending on, again, of the other indications in the birth chart, we can, make suggestions and see that maybe the risk taking is a little bit dialed down, but a lot of Sagittarius, are even a little bit, okay with the risk. More so than the other ones a lot of the times. Maybe, this is an interesting one. Let's take this one, Scorpio Ascendant. So why is Scorpio Ascendant so curious? And why are Scorpios very often very curious about sexual things and sexual matters and occult topics? Remember, guys, the 8th house, a lot to do with those things. This is where Gemini is. So Gemini is very much to do with whatever it is in the birth chart. We're very curious about it. We want to learn, we want to read, we want to talk about it, we want to get more information about it, we want to exchange more information about it. And this is one of those areas what we are very curious about. So when it moves into the 8th house, or when it is in the 8th house, so we're very curious about it. We want to know more. And this is one of the reasons that the Scorpio Ascendant, or Scorpio, very strong Scorpio, is very, very curious about those 8th house matters of sexual, exploration and taboo topics like astrology, like numerology, like these esoteric matters, and psychology, obviously, as well as subconscious. Learning about the subconscious is all about the 8th house. Now let's take a look, like one more. What, the Libra? We haven't talked about this one. What haven't we? Oh, this is an interesting one. Okay, let's do this one. So Libra Ascendant. This is maybe a not so common, but what is the reason and why you might see a Libra Ascendant person, or a person with a lot of Libra in their birth chart? Why do you see their career life and work life fluctuate more up and down? And this is one of the reasons of the Cancer. Wherever Cancer moves, or is, the sign of Cancer is in Libra's 10th house. So this is one of the reasons Libra's career, or the career of Libras, fluctuates up and down. So whenever you remember, Cancer is all about the up and down, ebbs and flows of life and nature. So it's kind of like a sinusoid, it's kind of up and down. This is where it's peaking, there is where it's low, but it's certain that once it will peak, you will know there's nature moves with its own rhythm. So does Cancer. And whenever it goes up, it goes down. And whenever it goes down, it will go up. This is the point of Cancer, and how Cancer energy, or Cancer, the sign of Cancer, is in real life, practical life. So this is one of the reasons Libra energy or Libra person has more fluctuations up and down. And remember, guys, wherever Cancer moves in general in the birth chart, that is where the person, the individual, will have more of these kind of ebbs and flows of life, and they need to be prepared for it kind of emotionally. Sometimes when it's in a financial house, they need to be prepared for it financially. So remember that, guys. And hopefully this kind of video shows you how to, you know, put 2 and 2 together and start, you know, really, you know, analyzing the birth chart and seeing how these things influence our lives. So it's important to know the basics before you go out into the more let's say difficult topics. So guys, let me know if it makes sense to you. Would you like to know more? What would you like to know more? But we're now about this topic specifically, but now we're going into more let's say we can say more difficult topics. We will take on planets and the luminaries, and then we will start to look at aspects and what are aspects, and then gradually building that skill of reading a birth chart up. Thank you very much, guys. Ian Altosaar, the Freedom Astrologer, ending for now, and see you again soon in the next video.